Hello there, everyone, on this internet that nobody watches. I'm back again. Back to doing these vlogs. I figured, you know what, why not? It's been a while. In any case, yeah. Life's dealt me a bit of a bad hand lately. Troubled in paradise, as they say, though, yeah, not even that anymore. And, yeah, job situation is utter non-existent. So I figured, why not? Back when I did these vlogs, when I had the worst job I've ever had, it helped me pick myself up. A little bit, at least. So, figured start doing them again. And so if you are part of my non-existent, my very, very small viewership, and you're actually coming back to watch, well, I'm honestly surprised you are, but I'm pretty thankful. That means I'll actually have people to watch the little bit of stuff that I do. It'll be nice. In any case, the only person that I actually knew watched consistently for my vlogs was my girlfriend, who is now my ex. So, yeah. Long story there. Yeah, but I think it's best I just... Long story short, rough relationship. We broke up. And now I need to move on, but hard to move on when you got no job, no real time-consuming hobbies, and you live in the same city, and your best friends, and one of your best friends is that person's brother. Yeesh. Okay, in any case, I'm gonna avoid talking about that. And it's kind of hard to get myself on track, but yeah. In any case, these daily, or hopefully daily vlogs are going to be mostly... The old system was simply just me kind of discussing the things, discussing my day, discussing something I felt like discussing. Not terribly much is going to change this time around. Only real difference is I'm going to have less to talk about when it comes to my day, unless you want to hear about some... yeah. Okay. But I do have a topic I want to talk about today. It's not exactly a serious topic, but it's an interesting topic. Some of you might have heard of a game by the name of Darksiders 3. I'm a fairly big fan of the series. Though admittedly so far Darksiders 3 is definitely a hit or miss for me. But when it opens up, it has a very interesting quote that I, as a Christian, thought, that sounds interesting. I want to break it down some more. To quote the narrator, who, from what I can tell, is supposed to be the Charred Council from the game, the question is this: if sin is itself a part of the grand design, then is not sin, by definition then, divine? And that's something that many Christians could struggle with. Basically, it's asking basically the idea of being a Christian is you should not sin. you have these rules and you should not sin, but God created everything. So if he created, in essence, he had to have created sin. So if sin is considered evil and not of God, but God created everything, then, and everything God created is good, then would not sin be good? The typical Christian answer would be simply, sin is a product of human free will, which God gave to us because he loved us. But that's not exactly a very satisfactory answer, because in the end, that doesn't actually change anything. It's just saying, it's literally saying that sin is our fault, but then people who know the Bible but don't want to believe in God can easily just say, what about back when the Jews went out to war and slaughtered millions, or I guess thousands, and that would be equivalent in that era. I don't know. What about way back then when God told them to go to war, which would be considered a sin? You can go back and forth a lot. You can just say that Christians would say that sin is holy, it is divine. If sin is not holy, it's not divine, it's of the devil, it's evil. But they can have their reasons, and non-Christians can have their reasons for why sin would be considered would be by the Christian definition divine and good and all that. But my mentality is something different. The way I see it, sin is not divine in the same way praising God is not divine. Because the concept of something being divine, the concept of something being more good than we can comprehend, is in itself flawed, is in itself a lie. It's just something that God told us to help us understand and help us, give us reason to do things. God is a God of love. That is why he created the world, why he cares about us, why he's willing to let us do what we want, even if he is not, he would wish we would do something else. See, the idea of there being things holy, there being things divine, it's just not really true. When asked by the Pharisees what the most important commandment is, Jesus said to love your neighbor. That is the two most important ones are to love God and love your neighbor. And that's what it's about. Love. Sin is not evil, but sin is an act of hatred, or an act of hatred, or an act of self. That is not. God wants us. God is a God of love, and thus while he understands that he knows the concept of hatred, with hatred being the opposite of love, he does not want to permit it. I expected this to be quicker, but okay. Hey, in the end, God wants us to love each other, not and not to focus on ourselves. God can be around sin, because sometimes what is considered sin, such as acts of violence, thievery, and all that, is actually an act of love. An act for the good of the people, such as Robin Hood. The whole idea of him is he stole from the rich and gave to the poor. He is considered, that is not, people do not consider that a sin. They consider it something of good. So, to answer, is sin thus divine, if it is part of the grand design? No. But nothing is. What is good and what is evil are separated by the fact of what is done out of love and out of your wish to help your fellow man is good. And what is done out of the act of selfishness and hatred, that is considered sin. The rules back then were primarily to prevent them, put in place to allow mankind to survive, to thrive. And these acts, which are considered sins, are things that go against our that ruin our ability to love each other and to thrive. Homosexuality, that's another matter entirely, I'll admit. But one that I'm not going to talk about for a decent while. I kind of wish I had more time, but I intended this to be 10 minutes at maximum. So, I'll just I'll just leave that topic there for now, I think. I'll probably come back to it at a later date to kind of expand more on it, because I do feel like I've only scratched the surface on that. In any case, thank you to my fairly small audience for listening. Have a good day. Have a good day, evening, night, morning, outer space, time, whatever. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening.